Hi, this is Matthew Bayan from MatthewBayan.com. I'm a published author, a bestseller, and also a professional editor. And this is the first video in my series on what I call Instant Edit. It's going to be a short piece to show you some ways that you can easily understand a character and also construct a character that works better in your story. First, this is just going to be a simple graph with two axes. We're only going to look at a limited number of characteristics in this particular piece, but there are obviously numerous characteristics that your heroes and your villains can have. But this is just to give you an idea of how you can go about this. Let's put strong. We're going to make this axis physical. All right, physical strength. Strong versus weak, and go with simple bad versus good. Now there are many other characteristics, and you can do this over and over again to give you some sense of how your characters are constructed and also how much conflict is there going to be between the protagonist and the antagonist, your hero and your villain. Let's take most people, if we're going to go up here is Hulk strength and over here is Hannibal Lecter evil. Most people are going to fall within a narrow range. Most people have some strengths. They may have some weaknesses, some things they can't do. They're a little bit good, they're a little bit bad. You know, criminals might be more bad, and police officers or other folks might be a little bit more good. But in general, most people are going to fall within a fairly narrow range of good versus bad, strong versus weak. I'm going to use superheroes because they're a lot more easy to understand this concept. Using them makes it simpler. Let's take Spider-Man, okay? In terms of physical strength, Spider-Man is way up here. Okay? He's very strong. Now, on this axis, is he bad or is he good? Spider-Man is generally good. He's willing to risk his own life to help other people. So he's a good character. Now let's take one of his villains. I like to use the Green Goblin. Okay. Physically, he's just about the same strength as Spider-Man. He uses technology, he goes about it in a different way, but they're comparable in terms of strength. That's why in a fight, neither one seems to hold the upper hand for very long. Now, is the Green Goblin good or bad? Well, he's out here. He doesn't care who he kills, he doesn't care who he injures, he doesn't care what the consequences are of his actions. So we have an evil villain who's strong. We have a very strong hero who's good. Let's connect the dots. What does this represent? First of all, these are the average folk, you and me. We're way above in terms of what we can accomplish in terms of good and what we can accomplish in terms of bad. These are the extremes, and that's why I use superheroes. This area in here represents the area within which you can have conflict. Now they tend to cancel each other out in terms of strength, so it comes down to a battle of good and evil and how that's going to work out. And it really depends upon how much motivation each character has, how much energy they're willing to put in to accomplishing the good goal or accomplishing the bad goal. That's where the real battle is taking place. It's more of a mental battle, an emotional battle, than it is a physical battle. We see it physically because comic books are graphic. We see it physically in movies. They have to show us something. But this is the real conflict between them. So this is a good way to look at a character. And if you have a character who is, let's take Hannibal Lecter, for instance. All right, Hannibal Lecter, in terms of physical strength, he's pretty much average. Arnold Schwarzenegger would be a lot stronger than him. So he's down here with the average folk. But in terms of evil, he's out here. So if you have a character who is also of roughly equal strength, but is good, again, it's not a physical war. The war that takes place between him and Clarice Starling, let's say, in The Silence of the Lambs, she's not stronger than he is. In fact, she's weaker than he is. But Here again, the battlefield is going to be between good and evil. Now you could throw another axis in here. One might be smart, dumb, and we might throw in, well, it could be bad and good again. It depends on how you want to look at this. Just to give you an example, Hannibal Lecter is extremely smart. Clarice Starling is not as smart as him. So Hannibal Lecter has an advantage. He's here, she's there, and if you start connecting these dots, what you get is the area of conflict has a lot to do with the difference in their intelligence. So she's got to go a lot harder to beat him because he is smarter than her, and he does outsmart her in a couple of areas. Now, this is all well and good in terms of constructing your character, and it gives you a sense of what is the conflict area between your good guy, your bad guy, your hero, your villain, your protagonist, your antagonist. One other thing that you might want to throw in here, when you're constructing a character, one of the things that I think is important to look at is if you have a hero, the hero shouldn't be all good. Hero could have like maybe 2 really good qualities, but should also have a negative quality to make the hero more interesting. Same with a villain. Your villain usually has 2 negatives, but 1 positive. So for instance, Clarice Starling. She's an FBI agent. She is moral. She is intelligent. She is good at investigation. What's her weakness? She is embarrassed about her background, and that's one of the first things that Hannibal Lecter homes in on. She comes from Appalachia. She comes from the poor. She's trying hard to lift herself in the world, and that creates an emotional weakness in her that he tries to exploit. The villain, Lecter, what are his negatives? Got all kinds of. First, he's a serial killer. Second, he's insane. 3, he eats people. What's his good part? Why are people drawn to Hannibal Lecter? He's an attractive character. Why? Because he does have certain qualities. He's polite. He keeps his word. He may attempt to kill you, but if he gives his word that he will do something or not do something, he keeps it. So there's a certain honor code in Hannibal Lecter that makes him interesting. You wouldn't want to have dinner with him because you wouldn't know what you were eating, but he does have an honor code, and that makes him a much more interesting character. So the whole movie, Silence of the Lambs, has very interesting contrast between your hero and your villain. That's something to watch, and that's something that you can help construct as you do this graphic. That's it for now. If you want to visit my site, it's MatthewBayan.com, and I will be posting not only the videos but also radio interviews and also some chapters on how to do various kinds of editing as you're working on your material. If you want to get in touch with me, just go there, send me a message, and you can also reach me on Twitter. I've enjoyed this, I hope you have, and I'll see you next time. Take care.